Hi, and welcome to the 2020 Economic Depression and Preparation Channel. I'm your host, Tony. Thank you for joining me once again on this October 16, 2020. We are thanking God for another day, wherever you are in the country or in the world. We've made it to the end of another day, and for that, we say thank you. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already for the latest on financial news in the United States and around the world, the truth and unadulterated filtered news brought to you by yours truly. Today, I want to talk about something that's going to be a little bit different, and that's about this new push for a work from home economy, this work from home remote work economy, and how one economist is saying that it's going to be a disaster and it's going to further extend the wealth gap between the rich and the poor. And this is going to become a very important point because if the coronavirus is going to be here for the next 2 or 3 years, many companies like Google, Facebook, Apple, Microsoft have been allowing their corporate employees and their regular employees to work from home through at least the year 2023. And that was brought up by CNN.com. But one of the challenges of working from home is that many of the people that work from home have stated, many of the workers have stated that it's been a productivity disaster, much like what they're doing to our kids in school who now have to do their lessons in some of these states virtually. They don't meet face to face with teachers or with students, have interaction with students, and that's causing a productivity disaster for parents because now we have parents working from home and their kids working from home at lessons. One parent remarked, "My 4-year-old regularly burst into the room hoping to find me in a playful mood, shouting doo-doo in the middle of conference calls." That must be nice. And, on top of that, as a parent, some of these systems that they use for the students to learn their lesson on is very complicated and time consuming to do homework with them as well. And teachers have been complaining that in terms of their economy that they're working even harder now from home than they were at the school building because they have to do parent-teacher conferences virtually through Zoom, and they have to grade papers and just answer a whole bevy of questions before they can get the actual lesson plan accomplished for the day. So, but back to the work productivity. Employees that are working from home usually set up a home office with 2 screens. You maybe have a remote keyboard, a remote mouse. But the thing that is really happening to people is that the productivity is slipping because, you're saving on commuting time. Some people commute 30 minutes one way or hour one way to work. Some people commute less than that. But the problem with it is that depression is going up among workers that are working from home because they miss the physical and mental interaction being in these buildings, and that's taking a toll on the economy because productivity is going down even from working from home. Not only that, not everybody can work remotely from home. In a recent study that was conducted by the Atlanta Federal Reserve Bank and the University of Chicago, only 65% of Americans reported having fast enough internet capacity to support workable video calls. So as we go through the crux of this depression in this last quarter of the year and into next year, you have to remember people are still paying for internet, whether through Verizon or through Comcast, Xfinity, or through Cox or some other satellite company. That bill can run sometimes hundreds of dollars, $100 to $300, if in counting your cable package and your phone package, because you got to buy the bundle. They don't sell those individually, unless you're on some type of Fire Stick or Chrome Stick or something like that. But in order to have fast enough broadband, you're ending up paying at least, the cable companies make you pay at least $100 or more. That's the minimum. And some of these places people are paying upwards of $200 to $300 for a fast internet broadband and cable package that they need to support working from home with these video calls. So that's a bill too that can add up quickly because as people lose their jobs, as people are on unemployment, then now that's cut from $600 to $300. Who in their right mind is going to have the money to pay internet when they have to make a choice between paying their internet that they need for work purposes or buying their kids a new school uniform, not a new school uniform, but paying for their kids medical bills or something like that? These are the choices that we're going to have to make. And so this working from home remotely is great in one sense, but it's also a pain in the butt in another sense for a lot of families. And this next year is going to be proven to see that as well. About 50% of the respondents, mostly managers, professionals, and financial workers who carry out their jobs on computers, they reported that they're able to work at a home efficiency rate of 80% or more compared to when they were in the office. Another thing too, that drawback that's going to be interesting too in terms of the economy, is that a lot of folks that work in offices and buildings, they don't have all of their resources. There's some resources that you can't get on SharePoint or on Office 2020 or on the collaboration suites like Slack. You need the actual paper, physical resources, documents, dockets to view, and cases to look at, or whatever to look at, that you can only access at the physical building for some jobs. The others employees have noted things such as poor internet at home or none at all. What happens when Comcast Xfinity goes out? They often have these power outages or service outages that have nothing to do with the weather or nothing to do. They just happen to go out. What happens when your family can't afford to pay for the internet that month? Does it get cut? Do you call in sick from work? How does that work out in this economy when we have 60 million people unemployed? And we have 800,000 people just this week, past Thursday, counted again, filed for initial jobless claims for the 30th straight week. So, taken together, this is a ticking time bomb for inequality, says The Economist. So, the results show that the more educated, higher earning employees are far more likely to work from home, obviously the white collar workers. So they're continuing to get paid, developing the skills and advancing their careers. But at the same time, those unable to work from home, either because of the nature of their jobs, maybe you're a plumber, or electrician, or a computer engineer, or a linesman, or something like that, or maybe you're just a carpenter, or you own your own shop and you have to go into a physical building, or because they lack the suitable space or internet connections, they're being left behind. So now we have a digital divide that people don't want to talk about as well, because we face bleak prospects if our skills and work experience are eroded during the extended shutdown and beyond. We haven't got through the first wave of this pandemic, and they're already talking about a second wave of this pandemic. So can you imagine if we go through a supposedly second wave of this pandemic and they shut down even more? That's going to hurt those people who have to go in physically to their jobs as essential workers. And it's going to hurt the people that work from home, because they have to be basically the jack of all trades. They have to balance the kids and family life with the work life. There will be no separation between the two. And that's going to hurt the economy, because productivity goes down if more people are staying home and not going out and producing things and making things. That is the heart of the economy, according to Ray Dalio. He says that productivity is the heart of any economy, let alone the American economy. And so this is what we're happening to see next year. We're going to see it's going to be a big, big thing coming up for a lot of people. And so this digital divide, coupled with crime going up, coupled with consumer savings going down, even if we try to save money, what type of interest are we getting on our savings? We're getting 2 cents a month? I think last time I checked, a cent a month, because the rates are so low. The Federal Reserve has kept interest rates so low for the last 15 years that we can't even get savings. So consumer savings buffer is going to go down because second stimulus check is not coming. Crime is going to go up because more people are working from home, doing business from home, and then they're gonna get tired of getting cooped up. They're gonna get cabin fever. And the parks, I don't know if you noticed this, but a lot of cities parks, a lot of county parks and recreation, whether it's fishing or boating, things haven't got back to normal because they haven't opened up. Nobody in America right now in the 50 states is in a full open mode because we've been in this shutdown mode. And so that's going to further halt this economy to an absolute grind. As a matter of fact, they're saying that the stimulus check, if it even gets one, is not even going to be here till like February or March of 2021. Can you afford to wait that long for not only a stimulus check, but for a business paycheck protection program, PPP loan, to come to your small business? The economy will lose $60 billion a month just from the loss of unemployment benefits, says the CNBC report today back on October 7th, 2020, by Jeff Cox. Other projections see continued layoffs and damage to multiple industries. Listen, it's going to take the airline industry 10 or 12 years to recover. It's going to take the retail industry 10 or 12 years to recover. It's going to take this whole economy 10 to 12 years to recover, if we even recover at all, because this is different than the 1929 depression. This is a worldwide global depression. There's nowhere to run. There is no safe haven in gold and silver or crypto or any industry, but we have to get this to try to protect ourselves against, to have some buying power. But this makes this one so different. And we have become so accustomed to materialism at home, at work, at school, are in the stores, that we're not going to be, a lot of Americans are not going to be able to handle being displaced, basically becoming nomads from city to city, when all of this stimulus ends. And it's going to end. It's only a matter of time, ladies and gentlemen. And also when the not when, and when the stimulus ends, but also when the economy goes belly up, and when these stores close for good, and we don't have any replacement stores. Look around your town. I want you to count the number of for sale, for lease signs you see on Main Street and through your town or city or township. Just count the number, the writings on the wall, and house sales are even slowing down. Nobody's buying new homes. Only the people buying new homes are buying because they have to get out of apartments. They have to get into a situation where they have at least a lower, more interest rate payment for now, and to try to ride it out. But people are not selling homes as fast. Homes are staying on the market for 180 days or more now. Airlines have already laid off 32,000 workers. Southwest Airlines has indicated it will seek a 10% wage concessions from its workers. As many as 38,000 of the 57,000 hotels in America will go out of business without further funding, according to American Hotel and Lodging Association. The group also projects that 2 million jobs already lost could nearly double to 3.7 million, which would approach half the industry's 8.3 million labor force in that hotel. So we know that Congress is stalling for time. There is no more stimulus money. And that this year is pretty much done. There is no more stimulus coming, for at least for the individual. Maybe they're doing behind the scenes money for these businesses. I heard President Trump saying that he's trying to get more money for the airlines, but that's for the executives. That's not for us. That's not for the mainstream. That's for the executives. So this is looking really, really bad. And my friends, continue as you work from home. Yes, do your job just as everybody's doing here and the young ladies doing here. But continue to prep from your home, wherever that may be, and store supplies. I know if you're in an apartment, or if you're in a city dwelling place, try to store supplies off site or with a family member who does have a permanent dwelling, or that kind of nature, if you can. And so that will be the crux of the thing. But so remember, everything is going to look good on the outside, but we have to look what's in the inside of this economy. And right now it's rotting day by day. And Congress and our administration and this election, they're just buying time until next year, when the system really gets imploded into a recession. They will admit that finally, but it won't be until next summer until they finally admit that we are in a depression, really. But they won't admit that. The media won't admit it. You will only hear it here on YouTube. Be blessed. Have a great day. Continue to prepare. Any questions or comments, please leave them down below, and I'll talk to you very soon.